Welcome home, my leadership friends. This is Bob Beaulaurier, the Beau Leadership Group, in episode 26, When Resistance Forgets Love. It's a bit of a reflection. When resistance forgets love and the courage that redeems. Across history, people have gathered in churches, sung hymns, and listened to the words, Thou shalt not kill, love thy neighbor as thyself. Yet many have walked out of those same doors and lived in ways that betray those very words. I don't know much about Nazi Germany, but in Nazi Germany, Christians went to church and then turned a blind eye to genocide. In parts of Africa today, people fill churches on Sunday and pick up machetes and rifles on Monday. In South America and Papua New Guinea, where I've been personally, men who call themselves Christians sometimes raise their hands in prayer and then raise hands against their wives, and again, sometimes with machetes. And in Asia, places like Burma, where both Christians and Buddhists claim peace as a virtue, whole villages have been burned in the name of purity or pride. I'm nowhere near perfect, and it's too easy to point fingers at history and forget that that same hypocrisy still breathes in every corner of the world, and sometimes in me, in us. If it's not good, it's not God, and resistance without love is just another form of hate in my mind. I've thought about this a lot, and religion without compassion is just another costume for power. And power is politics, and politics, I think most of us have had enough of it. When we justify cruelty for the greater good, we break the very commandment that we claim to honor. Every act of violence leaves behind a wound no ideology can heal. A mother without their son, a wife without her husband, a child growing up with anger where innocence should have been. That pain doesn't vanish. It becomes the next generation's reason to hate. It's easy to say the only power strong enough to break that chain is love, not soft, sentimental love, but fierce, disciplined love. That's where it gets a little bit harder. And I do talk about rigor in the previous episode. That kind of rigor refuses to answer evil with evil. Think before action. Think, does it line up with your purpose and what you want to do? The kind of love Jesus showed us when he carried the cross instead of a sword. So before we call our anger righteous, we should ask, is love leading me? Or am I simply baptizing my pain in holy words? And quite frankly, get angry and upset and I have to work on these things all the time because every time we use God's name to justify harm, we trade his presence for our pride. And often when I'm angry, it is pride. History from Germany to Africa to South America to Burma keeps teaching us the same truth. The only resistance that redeems is the one guided by love. I'm talking about restorative courage. Restorative courage faces evil without becoming evil. Restorative courage, it confronts injustice, yet it leaves room for redemption. It's willing to suffer without seeking to make others suffer in return. That's why Gandhi, Martin Luther King, and Christ all preached nonviolence and were all killed for it. Their deaths reveal a deep irony. Those who refused to hate were destroyed by those who did. Yet their courage proved that nonviolence is not weakness, it is one of the highest forms of strength. True leadership doesn't crush enemies, it redeems them. Because only love can expose the truth. We're more alike than different. Without destroying the souls of other people on the other side, you experience love at a deeper level. This is Bob Beaulaurier, Beau Leadership Group. Empower your leadership and elevate your image with God in mind. Bless your week.